Well, if you've been following along and you could do simple math, you know that it is week 8. 8 weeks since I tore it, 7 weeks since I got it repaired. Big moves this week. I don't know if you can notice any differences. I know I can.
Notice anything different, Raven?
You're twitching.
Yep, pretty awesome, huh?
Scar is down big time. If I haven't made this clear enough yet through my avatar, or if you watched one of my earlier videos, I'm putting my recovery in my faith in Jesus Christ. Everyone's asking me, are you taking other supplements like the peptides? Because I did give that some thought. Are you, stressed about this or any? No, I'm really not. I'm not stressed about anything, and certainly not about this. When it first happens, I had the right to kind of just be like, oh man, what the heck? But other than that, it was just like, all right, well, happened. All right, come on. There was a reason, whatever it may be, whether it's to create this YouTube channel and preach you guys the gospel and tell you how I'm going to recover, including my faith. So again, just leaning on Jesus through all this, praying for my health, have fellow believers also praying for my health and my recovery. So that's a major thing. Don't take it lightly. Don't don't poo-poo it. If you want to leave, go ahead. But I just need to get that out there, that is my main source of recovery. Now, I could do all this PT, I could do all this working out, but at the end of the day, it's nothing. I have no power. It's Jesus, it's God, and having that faith and being grounded in it is super beneficial and super important in my life and this recovery in particular right now. So just want to make that abundantly clear to all of you followers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for continuing to watch even after you hear this message. Maybe you need to feel a little conviction after this, and I hope that you do. So back into week 8. Let's go. Monday, my physical therapist was working the scar. Got a nice pop on some of the scar tissue here. Really brought it down nice and flat now. I don't have as gruesome of a scar now, so when I show people, it's not like, because that's kind of the reaction I was originally getting. It is still there. I don't know if it'll ever go away. I wish it was a little bigger, just so I had a little bit of a reminder when I'm in the gym or when I'm wearing a tank top or anything, like, oh yeah, you're an idiot.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot! You're an idiot!
But here we are, nice, smooth, looks like nothing happened. Little paper cut type of incision. Great job by Dr. Yoldis, getting in there nice and clean, like very microscopic, really. I mean, it's amazing how little that incision is to then open up. Excuse you. No. As I was saying, it's amazing how little that incision is to then just open up and kind of work all the way over here to the pec. This week, major movements aside from just the scar tissue popping. I did my first upper body workout. I focused on 3 movements, 2 back movements, and 1 chest movement. It was all isometric for the chest, but the other 2 I was moving. So I did assisted pull-ups with up to 50% of my body weight. Now, I'm not saying anyone else who's walking this journey of tearing their pec, you should be at 50% body weight pull-ups by week 7. By no means is that what I'm saying. If I were to do 50% pull-ups, 50% of my body weight pull-ups as a healthy human being, I would have been there. I'd still be there. I started 5 days ago. It's not a struggle for me at that. There's some people who can't do 1 pull-up with their body weight, so 50% is their working range. I can do 20 plus pull-ups with my body weight, so 50% is, it feels like air. I could do it with 1 hand. So, and I was doing it with 1 hand to start and kind of just letting my bad hand kind of go for the ride. I eventually worked up to working both. getting that full stretch all the way up and pulling it down and squeezing it. You can go to my Instagram and I posted the video there. You can get an idea of the pace that I was doing it at. I started really slow, then I worked into a faster pace. Told my physical therapist I did those, and he was like, oh wow, I'm like, what week are you at again? So kind of a little bit of surprise that either I did it or that I was capable of doing it. Either way, I'm happy with the result. I felt fine after the fact, so I felt like nothing was damaged. Next movement I did for the upper body was push downs with a resistance band, keeping my palms facing up or each other, not down, so I'm not pushing and using the chest, because you can see once you push that hand down, that chest flexes a little bit. If I have that hand up, it's harder for that chest to flex because I'm just using my lat and my rear delt to do it. So I took the resistance band, hung it up on the pull-up bar. It was a little too strong to the point where I felt like I was started to use my chest, so I just kept the range here and pushed before I got down past my chest, which is where you really start to engage it. So little tiny pulses of the resistance band here in a push down form, nothing crazy there. Then moved over to an isometric hold. I was holding in this plank position on the Smith machine at 3 different levels, starting at a level right about here, then another level here, then another level here. I didn't think that for the first time doing upper body, specifically my chest, I should go right down to the floor where I would have all my body weight on there. So I worked it down so I wasn't loading my chest with my entire weight. Held it 3 sets for a minute each. No difficulty. I definitely felt the chest engaging. I probably could have stayed there longer, but again, being the first week I'm doing this, I didn't want to go overboard. So really kind of walked a fine line, kept it those 3 movements, 3 sets at each of those, and then got out of Dodge. Once I got home from the gym and doing that upper body, I did feel some abnormal feelings in my chest, my left side in particular, not really my right. I could feel kind of where, not the incision was, but where the bandaging was, you know, the actual like sutures, or I'll maybe post a picture of what that kind of process, that surgical process looks like. It's amazing. It kind of like weaves in the muscle and the tendon. It's crazy. I felt the blood flowing through my pec, and it was just something I was not used to over the last 7 weeks. So it was like maybe even just the pump.
The greatest feeling you can get in a gym, or the most satisfying feeling you can get in a gym, is the pump. Let's say you train your biceps. Blood is rushing into your muscles, and that's what we call the pump. Your muscles get a really tight feeling, like your skin is going to explode any minute. You know, it's really tight. It's like somebody blowing air into your muscle. It just blows up, and it feels different. It feels fantastic.
Right, I might have had the pump, and I liked it. I felt good, but it was just foreign to me at this time, so I was a little cautious, and I was like, oh man, did I screw it up? But 2 hours later, nothing, felt fine. Next day in PT, again, felt fine. Things that we did in PT, or that I kind of did while I was waiting around for the physical therapist to do the massage work and the stretching out. I was working on some stability things, so I'm shaking this piece of equipment, and it's moving, and I'm just holding it and kind of working on my stabilizer muscles on my bad side, obviously. Doing it with my good side to make sure I can, you know, do it and it's not difficult, and then bringing it over to the bad side and trying it out there. So working on stability things here, I took a long pipe that they had there, and I did overhead rotations like that, trying to get really back and overhead, and maybe even a little past that perfect parallel there. I asked for some direction on how I can be massage gunning my chest myself. You know, I know how to do it, but I just wanted to kind of clear that up with the physical therapist. So just to show you guys what's okay here, my physical therapist likes to work from kind of the shoulder joint here and wrapping down on an angle like that where the chest switches from the major to the minor. So a nice line like that, and just staying on that line, because that's where a lot of that kind of tension and knottage is going to happen. The split of the 2 major and minor parts of the pec is here, and you can see this is mostly my minor, this is mostly my upper, my major. So I put the round kind of styrofoamy head on here just so it's soft, so I'm a little bit freer to work. When you use those harder heads on here, it can get dangerous. You can clip a bone and hurt something or break something. So by using the softer head, I can just apply the correct amount of pressure and have a little more leniency. Using the rounder head too, I can kind of work all different angles. So I'm coming in here, nothing is going to damage it at this point. So I'm going to kind of run this line, and my physical therapist was saying a lot slower than I'm doing. I'm just doing it fast right now for you guys. But I'm going to run it really slow up and down, maybe hold some certain points. Like that point feels good because it's at that split of the major and the minor. And then I'm going to just drag it up to the spot, drag it up to the spot. Now, he said that my chest has a little more muscle than the average human being, so I'm able to kind of dig in and do things like that where most people probably can't. So I'm going to come in on my minor, dig it up, push it up like that. Same thing with my upper. I can kind of get in on my upper and down like that. A lot of people have to be careful with their upper, that they don't hit their solar plex or their ribs or their chest or anything like that underneath. So having enough muscle here lets me have a little bit more freedom to kind of dig around and just go. This is nonsense massage gunning. You don't want to be doing stuff like this. This does nothing for you. Holding it in a certain point, you can even hear it in my voice. Holding it in a certain point on a knot, okay, not feeling anything, not feeling, okay, I'm going to keep it there for a couple seconds. I'm going to dig in around that area. I'm not just boom. You'll see a lot of people in the gym do things like this. That's garbage. That's nothing. You're not doing anything. Hold it on where knots might be, on long heads of muscles, short heads of muscles, and really loosen that up. Here on my bicep, I've had a lot of tension on the split of my bicep here, so I'm going to hold it in there, and that's just going to feel great for me. I'm going to let my forearm get nice and loose. You'll see the whole thing kind of just bump once I get that spot, but that spot's just, look at that. It's things like that. Now, holding that in that one spot is going to do more than if I were to just hit the entire arm. So finding that one spot and holding the gun on that one spot of knots or tension or whatever you might have is going to be a lot more beneficial. Obviously, this feels good too, right? It feels good, but it's not doing anything for the muscles, not pushing blood flow there, not breaking up any tightness you might have. So getting his direction on how he does it, but then also confirmation that I can kind of go free ball because my chest is big enough to hit certain things. This isn't going to break the surgical site. It's not going to pop the wound, anything like that. So I don't need to worry so much. And that's what I wanted to hear when I asked him, how should I do it at home? Again, this video has probably gone too long, so I'm going to put a bow on it. So if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do so. Feel free to leave a comment below too if you are curious about what else I'm going to do, what I can do, if I've made any decisions on what workout plans I've got. If you've got any suggestions still, please, I'm open to anything you guys have to offer. And follow my other socials because I'll be posting workouts and things that I do behind the scenes, not always just on YouTube, of this recovery and beyond and what I've done in the past things. So please support. Your views are already enough support, but whatever you can offer. Thank you.